Welcome back. This is Nick from Beer and Bat Reps. We are doing a 9th edition unit by unit breakdown for the Space Wolves. We've done Dreadnoughts, we've done Fenrisian Wolves. It is time for the Wulfen, the most barbaric slash frankly cartoonish unit in the whole game, in my opinion. These guys are wild. They have basically every rule. They fight when they die. They do all kinds of crazy stuff. And we're going to go over all of it. Their background is kind of nuts and fun. Their rules are insane. But as you'd expect for something that costs that many points, or that something that's that powerful, they cost a ton of points. So we'll go over all of it. Tactics, how I personally use them, how people online have used them, how they did in 8th, how they will do in 9th, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll go ahead and start with the background and fluff of the Wulfen. With a howl that puts ice in the blood, the Wulfen bound towards their prey, fangs bared and claws outstretched. In their haste to glut their insatiable appetite for slaughter, the Wulfen lope forward at a daunting pace. Their anatomies, altered by the strange curse that assails their bodies and souls alike, are perfectly adapted for the violence at Hunt's end. There has been much speculation surrounding the Wulfen since they were first discovered by Harold Deathwolf. Their armor and heraldry was that of the 13th Great Company, who to a warrior were lost nearly 10,000 years prior during the assault on Prospero. Are these bestial battle brothers the same space marines who had pursued the Thousand Suns? Had they somehow survived the long millennia inside the Eye of Terror? Are their hulking forms the result of a flaw in the Canis Helix? The answers to these questions, and many more, are unknown to the Wolf Lords and the Fenrisian priesthoods. But from the moment they appeared, the Wulfen battled for their chapter with unbridled fury, their animal rage likely saving the Space Wolves. After revealing themselves, the first Wulfen were taken to the Fang. Under the orders of Logan Grimnar, the Iron Priest Hrothgar Swordfang tested the Wulfen's capabilities, arming them with chainswords and axes, and pitting them against practiced servitors. The Swordfang's surprise, the Hulken Wulfen handled these comparatively delicate weapons clumsily, quickly abandoning them to savage the servitors with their bare hands. On the 9th day of trials, a Wulfen warrior took up one of the relic weapons that had been hung in the Fang's halls for untold centuries. The Wulfen soon proved well suited to using the prodigiously large ceremonial weapon, wrapping its claws neatly around the haft of the great frost axe before hefting and swinging the colossal blade cleanly through a nearby statue. Perhaps this weapon was created for warriors of equal strength who had once existed in the chapters past, or perhaps the coming of the Wulfen had been foreseen, and this relic had been created specifically for their bestial hands. Whatever the case, a search of the Fang produced more of the ancient weapons, along with other tools suited for use by the Wulfen, such as impulse-triggered grenade modules that integrated seamlessly with the Wulfen's pattern of neural activity. Girded for war, the Wulfen have been returned to the fold of the Space Wolves, and others of their number has since been found roaming the stars. But despite their might and fervor, their place amongst the Sky Warriors has caused much controversy. The Wulfen appear on the brink of berserk rage at all times. Worse still, those who hear the bloodlust in their war cries feel their own beast within awaken. Those battle brothers who succumb to the curse of the Wulfen completely are themselves transformed, body and mind, and taken in by the Wulfen packs. Okay, so first thing I want to do is go through their statistics, their point cost, power level, and abilities. So first of all, the Wulfen in a 5-pack, here's the way I equip them. I do 4 Wulfen with Thunderhammer Storm Shield and the Wulfen Pack Leader with the dual Frost Claws. That is 226 points, and it is 8 power level. I like to keep my units small at that base 5-man amount because I don't want to invest too many points into this unit. They're pretty much a nuke that runs across the table, and if they can get to their opponent, they destroy them. Your opponent knows this, so they're going to shoot everything they can at them. And if you dump too many points into like a Death Star sized unit, you're either going to win or lose based on just that one unit. And most of the time, you'll find that you'll lose. They cost a ton of points. So if you invest too many points into them, as good as they are, you're going to be suffering all over the board everywhere else. So I like the just base unit of 5. They're so dangerous, but they do their job. At 226 points, I don't win or lose based on this unit. If they die right away, it's nothing too major. But yeah, I'd like to hear in the comment section how you guys run your Wulfen, if you do much bigger units or not. So let's go through their stats. First of all, movement 7. That's awesome. We're running like Eldar across the field. Weapon skill 3+. Keep in mind you'll have that +1 hit for being a Space Wolf, so that's great. Ballistic skill is only 5+. I don't equip them with any kind of shooting weapon, so I don't really care about the ballistic skill. Strength is 5, which when coupled with a Thunderhammer brings you up to 10, which is a real sweet spot to be at in 9th edition. Toughness is only 4. That's something you got to watch out for. Wounds are 2. So in some ways, these guys superseded the Primaris as the 2 wound Space Marines. Attacks are 3, which is great. Leadership 7, and save 4+. 4+. Just so we're all aware. Yes, it appears they're wearing power armor, but they're also sleeveless and not wearing a helmet. So, you know, it kind of makes sense that their save's a little worse. Frankly, I give them a storm shield, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so first up, Bounding Lope. Models in this unit can advance and charge in the same turn. That's huge. So basically, you're getting all the bonuses of being a Space Wolf, along with the bonuses of being a White Scar or an Orc. These guys are great. Advance and charge, wow. Couple that with movement 7, and you're looking at a really, really strong, fast unit. A lot of people bring them off the board edge with different stratagems, but I think you're kind of wasting the advance and charge with that. And now that the board is smaller, the enemy can't back up quite as far. They can't kite you, which is backing up while shooting. So basically you advance that first turn and get behind some line of sight blocking wall. And then on the second turn, you push right through it, you advance and charge, and then you reroll your charges. There's a couple abilities that do that. They come with their own, which is the next one. It's called Curse of the Wulfen, and in parentheses it says Hunt. You can reroll failed charges for friendly Space Wolves infantry, biker, and cavalry units that are within 6 inches of this unit at the start of the charge phase. This range of this ability is doubled to 12 inches for friendly Bloodclaw units. That one does affect them. And what I mean by that is the next one, called Curse of the Wulfen, Kill. Instead of Hunt, it's Kill. You can make one additional attack for models in Space Wolf infantry, biker, and cavalry units that are within 6 inches of any friendly unit with this ability when they make their attacks in the fight phase. The range of this is doubled to 12 inches for Bloodclaw units. Units of Wulfen are not affected by this ability, nor are units that made a charge while within range of the Curse of the Wulfen Hunt ability. So basically, they can give themselves reroll charges. They can't give themselves +1 attack. So you're always going to give yourself reroll charges. So they have 7-inch movement. They can advance and charge and reroll charges. These guys are quick. Probably the fastest on foot Space Marines, period. If you're, taking into effect that they don't have jump packs, they're just running on foot. These are the fastest in the game in terms of Space Marines, in my opinion. Next, we get to their most important ability that's just insane. It's called Death Frenzy. Roll a d6 each time a model in this unit loses a wound. On a 5+, that wound is not lost. I mean, right away, they're basically disgustingly resilient. So now all of a sudden, you have the bonuses of +1 to hit and exploding 6s for being a Space Wolf. You got advance and charge like a White Scar, and you got the defense of a Plague Marine. If a model in this unit is slain in the fight phase, then once the enemy unit has finished making its attacks, you can attack with that model before removing it as a casualty, even if it has already attacked that phase. This ability is not cumulative with the Great Banner ability. Wow. So not only do they have all those other rules, they fight when they die. So if turn 2, or maybe even turn 3, if you've been real selective with your charges, you're slamming into your enemy with multiple units, you're always going to want to select them first if you suspect your opponent of using 2 CP to jump in and fight second before all the rest of your chargers. And the reason is these guys are going to fight again when they die. Some people might argue that you choose them last, with the thinking that even if your opponent jumps in and kills them, you still get to then kill your opponent. So either way, you're okay. So you might as well start with someone else. I guess it depends on the unit you're in combat with. If you're fighting something incredible, you're going to want to get your hits in, then get killed when that, like Mortarion or Magnus or, incredible unit, 20 Berserkers. You're going to want to hit first, kill as much as you can, do as much damage as you can. Then when they fight and kill you, you then get to fight when you die and finish them off. It's amazing. And for 226 points, it makes it fairly common to get your points back as long as you can just get to combat. That's the hardest part. Some people put them in a flyer because of that, or a Land Raider Crusader because of that. But once again, I think with Advance and Charge, I want to keep this unit as cheap as possible. And once you're including all these vehicles to mount them in, your points are getting pretty high just for that one unit to get to combat. I like to think 226 points, they might do incredible, they might get shot to death. But if they're shooting at my Wulfen with Storm Shields and 5-up Feel No Pain, I'm okay with that, because then that means they're not shooting at my precious Dreadnoughts that are moving up the field. Frost Claws on the leader. You typically always leave those. That's my recommendation, as long as basically everyone online has that same recommendation, because he starts with 4, 5 for 2 Frost Claws, and 6 for being a Space Marine with the Angels of Death Shock Assault. So with 6 attacks, you're hitting on 2s, and then you're going to be re-rolling failed wounds at strength 6. So he helps churn through hordes, orcs, gene stealers, that kind of stuff. And then you have your precious strength 10 Thunderhammers, which will soon be damage 4, or so it seems with the leaks that we've seen. So yeah, this unit is just crazy strong. They literally, it just seems like they have every ability. Advance and Charge, reroll charges, 5-up Feel No Pain, aka Disgustingly Resilient, aka 5-up Shrug. I mean, fight when you die. They give out bubbles of extra attacks to other infantry. I mean, they're just awesome. So now let's go through some stratagems and warlord traits and relics that can buff or help the Wulfen. Okay, so right off the bat, I just want to say there's only one relic that helps them, and boy does it help them. You know it, I know it, we all love it, Armor of Russ. It is only a 1-inch range to make an enemy unit fight last, but it's still so powerful and effective. So if you have a lieutenant or a wolf lord or a wolf priest or some kind of good character, basically when it's time to select who piles in and fights, you pick an enemy unit and they fight last. So powerful. It's so powerful. All Space Wolf players know how powerful it is and love it. I went through all the rest of the relics. There's even one called the Wulfen Stone, which give extra attacks, but it literally does not affect Wulfen. So that doesn't really help it too much. As far as Warlord traits, there's one called the Saga of the Wulfen. The Warlord's savage battle howl has a primal potency, sending the predatory instincts of his lupine kin into overdrive. Your Warlord and models in any friendly units of Wulfen, Space Wolf Beasts, and Space Wolf Cavalry units within 6 inches of him when they are chosen to fight in the fight phase can make 1 additional attack on the turn in which they made a successful charge. In addition, you do not need to take morale tests for these units while within 6 inches of your Warlord. Wow. Okay, so that's pretty great. If you gave it to a character, Saga of the Wolfkin, you're giving an extra attack to your Wulfen, every model. So now the leader with the dual Frost Claws has 7 attacks. Each Wulfen with Thunderhammer is going to have 5 attacks. So now your relatively small unit of 5 Wulfen are putting out 20 Strength 10 Thunderhammer hits. They're putting out 7 Frost Claw hits. So yeah, turn 3 on, you're looking at an extra rend or AP, and you're looking at 6s exploding. These guys just get so powerful. I've never tried Saga the Wolfkin, to be honest, because I run named characters. I have one HQ that's not a named character, and it's a lieutenant or Primaris battle leader, and I give him Armor of Russ. He's never the warlord because I like to make Bjorn my warlord because that 9-inch reroll ones bubble. Now, if we lose the reroll ones with the new book coming out, then yeah, I'll probably be looking to make my lieutenant my warlord so that I can have Saga the Wolfkin, so I can try that extra attack. Just run them with him. But yeah, we got a lot of things to learn when this new book drops, guys. But now let's check out all the different stratagems. So of course with Wulfen, as strong as they are in combat, the first one you want to look at is going to be Honor the Chapter. 3 CPs. Use this stratagem at the end of the fight phase. Select a Space Wolf infantry, biker, or cavalry unit from your army. The unit can immediately fight for a second time. It's unbelievably powerful. It is 3 CPs. Everyone knows how good it is. A lot of armies have this ability. The armies that don't wish they did. It is so underrated and powerful. If you just know you need to get through that, like I can just picture a unit fighting like Mortarion, doing a bunch of damage. Mortarion hits back, kills 4 of the 5, and then those hit back again and almost kill Mortarion. So all you have left is like one Wulfen and Mortarion that's almost dead. And you're like, you know what? It's worth it. 3 CP, here we go. And you finish him off. Something like that. You can find uses for it, basically. It's very, 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 very good. The other one is Cunning of the Wolf. It's 1 CP. Use this stratagem during deployment when setting up a Space Wolf infantry unit. Basically, it's the new stratagem that everyone can use, but it only costs 1 CP no matter how big the unit is. Whereas the generic strat where everyone can outflank, it goes by your power level. So this is kind of nice. If you have a huge Death Star size unit and you want to outflank them, instead of spending 2 or 3 like from the new generic one, you can just spend 1. So that's really good. Next, we look at some stratagems from Psychic Awakening, and this really helps them. The main one that I actually use a lot, not just for Wulfen, but for all Space Wolves, is called Countercharge. To the Space Wolves, attack is the best form of defense. Use the stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. Select 1 Space Wolf's unit. That's why I use it on Dreadnoughts, guys. It's great. In your army. Until the end of that phase, that unit can perform a heroic intervention as if it were a character. In addition, it can perform a heroic intervention if there are enemy units within 6 inches instead of 3, and when doing so, it can move up to 6 instead of 3. Oh, basically, your unit can protect other units. It is so powerful, guys. Okay, so the next one that seems incredible for Wulfen would be Transhuman Physiology. If you're a Space Marine player of any kind, or even you play against Space Marines a lot, you know how good this strat is. Honestly, it should be 3 CP. It's so good. Or keep it 2, but make it so they can only be wounded on a 3-up, not a 4-up. I mean, it's just so powerful. So when you take into account that they have 2 wounds, that they have a 5-up feel no pain, that they have storm shields, now you add Transhuman Physiology, and they become exceedingly difficult to destroy. Yeah, guys, Transhuman is worth it. You want to save some CP for that. If you know your opponent is going to go hard at your Wulfen to get rid of them, you can just be so obnoxious, so annoying, and add Transhuman Physiology. Another good one is Knowledge of the Foe. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when an enemy character is destroyed by an attack made by a Space Wolves model in your army. You receive 1 command point, and it costs 0 command points. So since a lot of the time you're throwing these against your enemy's strongest unit, sometimes that'll be a character, whether that's a knight, Imperial Knight character, or a huge Greater Demon, something like that. Just don't forget you have it, guys. It's 0 CP and you gain a CP. It's the only way Space Wolves can farm CP, and it's so just flavorful and fluffy. It's great. I love it. I love that they don't have a relic to farm CP. I love that it's just kill a character in combat and you get a CP. Let me know, guys. Tell me what you think about this unit. Tell me how you use them. I already kind of touched on the fact that I don't put them in a transport. I don't outflank them. I just run them. Maybe if I was facing off against AdMech with 3 Scorpius Disintegrators or Imperial Guard with a ton of artillery like Basilisks, maybe I'd outflank them then. But my goal with them is to use as few CP and as few points as possible on them, and know that even with it only being 226 and the fact that they're running across the table, if they get there, they will win. Even if they don't win, they fight when they die and they take the enemy with them. It is very, very flavorful and fluffy and hilarious and terrifying for your opponent. When I first started building Space Wolves, my goal was to just do Primaris and Dreadnoughts and then sprinkle in Fenrisian Wolves. I wanted that kind of modern robot army without all the werewolves and cartoonish stuff like Thunderwolf Cavalry. But my friend John, who's an amazing painter, painted these dirty, muddy, brown armored Wulfen, and I just thought that even though they don't have the half red, half gray armor that I do for my Cult of the Red Wolf army, it made sense to me that they would ally in or bring with them a unit of these just savages that have their own just muddy, rusty armor. And they were painted so good. I mean, John's really great at painting. So I had to get them. He sold them to me, and I've used them in one battle report recently. Can't wait to use them again. Like I said, I'm not going to put them in a Land Raider or a Flyer because I don't want to spend the points on those type of things. When you're my opponent and you're looking at a Leviathan Dreadnought, 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, Murderfang, Bjorn, Ragnar, just tons and tons of combat-based units sprinting full speed right at you, maybe you won't focus on the 5-man Wulfen unit that's hiding behind some ruins on their way up the field. But if you do, secretly they're way tougher to kill than a Dreadnought, so I'm okay with it. They're never going to quite be as efficient and deadly as like my Leviathan, but that's kind of the point, is what does your opponent have to shoot? Target saturation is the name of the game if you're a combat army. The nice thing about Space Wolves is that the rest of your combat-based units also have guns, so on the way up the field you can just be peppering the enemy. But this unit is pure combat all the time. These are Space Wolverine, Berserker, werewolves, and they're hilarious and great, and I'm really looking forward to using them more in 9th. I think they're going to be powerful, especially as everyone gains a wound. I have a feeling they will too, but we will see. Like I said, find us on Instagram at beer.batreps. Find us on Facebook, just search Beer and Bat Reps, and chat with us, guys. Also, down in the comment section below, let me know how you use yours, if you do use them, if you don't. If you're not even a Space Wolves player, tell me stories of when you've had to face them. I look at all the comments, guys. I'm ready to talk, so let me know. This is Nick from Beer and Bat Reps. Thank you for joining me once again on this journey through 9th edition with Space Wolves, and we'll be back maybe in a week or two. Thanks, guys. Cheers.